On Twitch. Look at me. Behold me streaming. This is what I look like when I'm streaming. And I got to refresh the page to make sure that things coming through and we have sound. Hey, we have sound. All right. Dementia Radio now. And recording in, oops, let's move that. Recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org. It's the Funny Music Podcast, brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
What the hell is going on?
We have pre-recorded interviews with Robert Lund and Spaff coming up later in the show. And Paul Wensley apparently has a really bad cold, so he was unavailable for any form of interview. But welcome to episode 825 of the Funny Music Podcast for April 9th, 2026. Title of this week's episode is Embarrassed Salt. Because. Yes. You seem very amused by this. All right, let's do the thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
No, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, I had a little video birthday call with my family for my 3-year-old nephew Bodie.
Cool.
Out in England, so that was nice. On this past Saturday morning, and last night my Lindsay and my former storyboarding partner John Barry came over to my apartment because John has a animation project that he's working on, and he wanted the two of us to do some voices for it. So
cool.
We've been trying to plan to get together for like the longest time, and there's always something that comes up. The week before, Lindsay wasn't feeling well, so now it was time. It finally happened. So got to hang out, and first time me and Lindsay had seen John in a real long time, so it was good. There's other stuff I want to talk about along the whole lines of the Luke works for the post office thing, but I think I want to save that for the end of the show for the listeners who kind of want us to get right to the comedy music stuff. So I'll put that off till the end of the show.
Okay.
So what have you been up to in the past week?
This past Sunday was Easter, right? That wasn't the previous week? Okay. Yeah, I went over to my in-laws, had a very low-key Easter. My wife and her two sisters, divided the cooking because my mother-in-law just finally got back home from the treatment center where she's been for the past couple of months. So she's doing okay, but we had a very nice Easter otherwise. Then Monday, I performed on the virtual comedy show with Steve Goody and Brad Tassel. And I was debating what to do, and I kind of wanted to do Dad Bod, but the way they do that show is the musical guest gets 3 minutes, and then Steve does a short song, and then a musical guest does another 3 minutes. And Dad Bod is a 6-minute song. So I wasn't sure how that was going to work. I may bring it up with Steve to possibly perform it in the future. But for now, I was like, I'll just do some other stuff. So I did Earworm and I did Yo Sam. And after the show, Brad posted the video to YouTube, his YouTube channel, like he always does, and immediately got a copyright strike from YouTube for my song, Yo Sam. And it wasn't just like, hey, you can't monetize this, we're going to send the money to Devo Spice. This was, we're going to shut down your channel. Damn. So he appealed it and then reached out to me saying, hey, they may call you. And I never heard anything. So I went on to my channel on YouTube, and I actually found a feedback form that you can fill out to send to YouTube. And I was like, hey, I performed on Brad Channel's thing. I performed my song. Please remove this copyright thing from him. That's stupid, But I don't even know if that form goes to a human being or anything. But his appeal said words to the phrase of, yes, that artist whose song you are claiming I violated his rights came on my show and performed that song. I think he's okay with it being on my channel. So they must have believed him, because his channel is still up, as far, at the moment anyway. So, but yeah, it's like, God, these people are so stupid. I can't with this. Just getting copyright strikes on your own material. Like, I understand you got to protect people's copyrights and stuff, but like, you got to find a better way. That this is ridiculous. And speaking of which, this show has been getting we always get copyright claims, not strikes, but claims. Usually it's because the songs we post end up on YouTube via, the company we distribute through. And then when I make my the promo and I play a clip of it, it matches to that other distribution of our song. And like, hey, you can't do that. That's somebody else's song. Blah, 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 blah. So we usually get that. We have started getting claims from the theme music, which we've been using for 15 years, which I pulled off the PodSafe Music Network. I'm like, bah? So on a plus side, now I know where to find a video of the original theme music if I ever need to make any changes to it or anything. But now it's like, maybe it's time to make a new theme song. So, any volunteers? Anybody? Because I ain't doing it. So,
we should do like the old school Dr. Demento thing with the Pico and Sepulveda contest. We should be like, you submit your cover of the Funny Music Podcast theme song and make it a contest, and
yes,
we'll pick the winner.
I'm all for that. Yeah, we got to do something. So, and the other thing is, I had a callback today for a commercial, and it went really well. So, wish me luck. It was the type of thing where it's like, I had one line, but the character was droning on and on and on, and the other character in the scene was supposed to be tuning him out. So I was like, that one line isn't enough to be droning on and on. So I just improvised a whole bunch of stuff, and I made the director laugh. So that's a good sign. So now we wait and see. All right, so that's all I got. Let's get into some music, shall we? Here is the latest by Robert Lund and Spaff, followed by an interview. Here is Confessions of a Carnivore, El Condor Pate.
Rather eat a porterhouse than greens. Yes, I would. I doubt I should, but beef tastes good. I'd rather eat the bacon than the beans. I can see what I need. Please make it bleed. Foie gras, don't give me that foie gras. God bless dogs, but that's their luck. It's sweet that you are what you eat. I'd rather eat more never trade my salad for a cow. Then eat kale. I mean, what the hell? Bring me some tail. I'd rather eat the thing that pulls the plow than what's plowed. As long as it's allowed, I won't be
I am here with Robert Lund and Spaff. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey, hey, Devo. Hey, Roberto.
Hey guys, I'm voguing.
Vogue, Vogue.
That's still a thing.
Voguing
It
is still a
is?
thing. I don't know, but maybe.
In Utah it is.
You know what is definitely still a thing is meat. See what I
Oh,
did there?
Meat.
Good,
So-
good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm learning how to segue. Yeah.
Very nice.
So tell us about Confessions of a Carnivore.
Okay, so you wanna say something first, Robert, or
No,
you want?
I think we only did it because Steve did a Simon and Garfunkel tune, and I guess we've never done one. But we have Spaff. We've done it before.
We've
we
done
did-
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, we did 50. Well, not Simon and Garfunkel, just Paul Simon.
Oh,
50
okay.
Ways to Lose Your Luggage.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Paul
Thanks.
Simon, yes. Who wrote all the Simon and Garfunkel stuff too, of course. But yeah, I was thinking usually song parodies come in one of two ways. You either hear a song and you say, I gotta write a parody of that song, or you come up with a topic and say, I gotta find a song that fits what I want to say about this topic.
Right.
And this was none of the above. This was simply saying, okay, the Suffolk and Good, you gotta say it right.
Yeah.
The Suffolk and Good Players did a Simon and Garfunkel song. They did Scarborough Fair, and they called it Sparsely Paid and Barely Part-Time, which I thought was very clever. And then Steve Goody, as Robert mentioned, did a Simon and Garfunkel song, and he did Hazy Shade of Winter as crazy, shameless grifter about, Trump,
Yep.
of course.
Mhm.
So I'm like, we got to do one too, and because Simon and Garfunkel is this new hot band that everyone should be listening to.
Now I'm wondering if Simon and Garfunkel ever did a rap song so I could parody one of theirs.
Cecilia, maybe.
Yeah,
No.
you could rap to that.
Which one?
Rap
What's it called?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Okay, I'll have to look
You're
it up.
breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily.
It'd be Cecilio. Cecilio.
Cecilio. Yeah, okay. I'll figure something out. I'll come up with something.
I always have to tease Devo Spice that do you even know Simon and Garfunkel?
Yes,
And
I do know Simon and Garfunkel. I don't own any of their stuff. I'm familiar with their hits. I've heard the original song of this, but for the life of me, I couldn't tell you what it was about or anything. It's been so long since I heard it. But it's one of those songs where I probably heard it like grocery shopping somewhere or something like that.
Yeah. I
Hell.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s, but I
Same.
spent the 80s listening to 60s music.
Okay.
And so I loved Simon and Garfunkel, and it's one of the very few bands. My dad is 30 years older than I was, and so there wasn't a lot of his music that I liked and vice versa, but he was a record collector and he had all the Simon and Garfunkel albums, and I had all the Simon and Garfunkel albums.
Oh.
Because I loved 60s music so much. And so that's where the two of us could relate. It's one of those very few bands that my old me and my even older dad could relate and like the same stuff. So I love Simon and Garfunkel. And then Robert mentioned then they split up and Paul Simon did his solo stuff and is still doing great solo stuff. I love all of Paul Simon's solo stuff. He's a national treasure for damn sure. So of course we have to wreck his songs.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, you know. This song is too serious. I must mock it in new and interesting ways. I'm looking at album covers of the Simon and Garfunkel albums because I'm pretty sure my parents had one in their collection, but I can't remember what it was.
I'll bet it was
Bridge
this
over
one.
troubled
Yeah,
water.
yeah. I'll bet
Bridge
it
Over
was
Troubled Water.
Bridge Over Troubled Water, and this song is on that album.
Okay.
Uh,
Maybe
I,
that's
I
why I've. You know what? Yeah, that album cover looks familiar. Maybe that was it.
I consider it a '60s album and a '60s band, but it actually came out in 1970.
hmm
That's same era,
Well,
right?
they're one of those bands for whom the '60s never ended. You know, they're still rocking the '60s.
Well, all that aside, I do like a good porterhouse.
Oh, so do I. Yes.
So I am a carnivore.
Yeah, me too. I was at a steakhouse last night. It was
Yeah.
nice.
And I love my Texas barbecue. I lived in Austin for a couple of years and fell in love with barbecued ribs, Texas style. And
If you want to go down an internet rabbit hole, look up reaction videos of Europeans coming to America and trying Texas barbecue for the first time. Yeah, there's a whole channel of people who like they take like people from England and wherever to like, you know, famous barbecue places, and they're just like, oh my god.
okay, so they approve.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. One the last one I saw, the guy was like, I think this is the best food I've ever had in my entire life.
It is. It is. Yeah, so Robert once again was kind enough to take these lyrics that I threw together and just do this great recording of them, and he got his daughter Macy
Yep.
once again
I saw in the credits, and you guys sound great together.
Oh, thanks.
Two of you complement each other beautifully.
That's in families that happens a lot. For some reason, the timbre and voices really resonate. It's kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys sound great. You really
I love
do.
singing with her. Yeah, it's always fun.
This apparently, you know, because of the number of comments we've gotten on the FuMP so far, which as of this recording is 0. But
Well, to be fair, nobody goes to websites anymore, so
Yeah.
and I haven't gotten around to building an app yet. Maybe someday, but
I was just going to say, based on that, this may not become our biggest hit ever, but if my whole career led up to the moment of Robert and Macy together singing "In Hell, I'll See You All in Hell," that is one of my favorite moments in everything we've ever done. I just love the way that sounds, Robert.
Yeah, well,
Tell Macy.
she actually records all her own stuff. She runs the studio. I taught her how to run it years ago. She's recorded a bunch of stuff on her own, and so I just opened up that session and said, "These are your tracks if you want them." And she takes over. So I'm not even in the studio.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I think my favorite line in this song is, "I'd rather eat the thing that pulls the plow than what's plowed." That's really clever. I must say that is really clever.
I'm a little more 8th grade, and I like the turd line, so I'd rather eat the turd than the turd.
It's just this mature humor for everyone, right?
There are some great lines in it though, Spaff. Good job. Great job.
Well, thanks, and good job with all of your instruments. Robert played all of these instruments you're listening to.
The only tough one was the mandolin because I'd hurt my finger just right after I got the lyrics. But the ocarina and the panpipes, I just sample those. Then I can play them on the keyboard. So that sounds a lot better or harder than it is. Mandolin's kind of fun to play.
They don't have a
yeah.
good like virtual mandolin yet, do they?
No. There's a few sample instruments that just don't work.
Yeah, like a lot of stringed instruments just don't work very well.
Yeah, like and a saxophone too. Saxophones are hard, mostly
Yeah.
because they have so much soul. There's just so much different ways you can just place your reed in your mouth, and a saxophone is one. Yeah, a lot of stringed instruments. The ocarina was really easy, and the panpipes were already downloaded, so it was all. And I just combined the two to do the sound. I'm not even sure what they used to play the original sound. I don't even know what it is.
Well, you said it's a 113-year-old song, so I mean, I don't know. What were they weren't using electric guitars back then. I can tell you that.
No.
No, it's originally a Peruvian folk song, and,
Okay.
and I just looked this up, so that's how I know. It's considered the second national anthem of Peru. So,
okay.
they love it there. So,
So you've created an
Peruvians
international incident here, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. To everyone in Peru, you're welcome.
We hope you like meat.
Yes. I think they do.
I think they do too.
So that, and then can I plug one more thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, plug whatever.
I got an email about a week ago from a guy who has a YouTube channel called Matt's Movie Madness.
Oh yeah.
And he said, "Hey, can I do a video of your Harry Potter song?" And I'm like, the Harry Potter song that we did 20 years ago? And he said, yeah, that Harry Potter song. So he made, we have this song we did for the FuMP all those years ago. It's called You've Got Hogwarts.
Yes.
And he just out of the blue made a video of it and put it up on YouTube on Matt's Movie Madness. So there's a plug for Matt and his Movie Madness. So go see that video. And if anybody else wants to make videos of our stuff, please do.
Go for it. That's why they're Creative Commons. People are allowed to do that. So
Yeah.
So
all right. So anything else you guys would like to plug?
What else you got, Robert?
I got nothing going right now. I've been a busy boy this time of year around the yard. But I've got a couple ideas. I might throw something at you.
Okay.
It's getting kind of crowded on the FuMP, boy. You gotta book it out 2 months ahead now. It's kind of cool.
For a while, yeah, and now all of a sudden, I was started to panic earlier this week because we were only booked out like a week and a half, and I was like, okay, we need to let's put out a call. So I put out a call, and I've gotten a few people claiming dates, so I'm happy now. But like for a while, I was getting nervous there for a while. I like it when we're like a month and a half out. That's my comfort zone. We're like 6 weeks. 6 or 7 weeks out, I'm good. That's where I want to be. When it gets down to like 2 or 3 weeks, I start to get nervous.
So start writing, folks. Come on, get some,
exactly.
Get some content.
Yes, and we do too. We currently don't have one in the pipeline, but we will. I've committed to you, Devo, and threatened you, Robert, that we're going to have at least one song on every volume of the bi-monthly FuMP compilations this year. So we've got to get one for what's the next one? May, June?
No, it's January, February, and then March, April. So this is the one for March, April. So yeah, May, June. You're right. Yes.
Okay, so that'll happen. Robert and I'm committing you to this too, Robert. We're gonna have something on the May, June compilation next.
All righty.
Robert's like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us back again.
Look forward to talking to you for the next compilation.
Yes, soon.
See you guys.
Later.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
This is the FuMP.
Give to the homeless and love all my neighbors. Don't blow my paychecks at 31 flavors. Pay down my credit cards, firm up my buns. These are a few of my resolutions.
There's a Demogorgon loose in town, and he's a flower-headed jerk. There's a hero in this town, and they call him Chief. He's gonna solve all these mysteries. His right hook alone will leave you missing teeth. So you don't mess around with Jim. I never got the chance to start a Ponzi scheme, my friend, or to party with them rowdy Taliban.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Mr. Jefferson, this is Dr. Reeves again. The first
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, there was a new album out by 2/3 of a Threesome. That album came out on Tuesday, and it is called Embarrassed Salt. No, it's not. What's it called? Called Party People. Sorry. It's available for streaming and available on their Bandcamp page. And they're also doing 2 album release shows, one in New York on the 13th and one in Los Angeles on the 21st, each featuring a bunch of well-known stand-up comics as well as the band. Details and tickets can be found at thecaitlincook.com/shows. Devo Spice is planning his 40th anniversary release and has a survey about it. Yeah, April 23rd is the 40th anniversary of the day I decided to do music. So I'm planning a big digital box set thingy with 27 officially released albums, plus like 2 albums worth of songs that haven't been on an album yet, plus, 2 of the videos. I can only release the 2. The question is, are people interested in this, and how much are you willing to pay? So I've set up a survey. If you go to tiny.cc/Devo survey, it's only those 2 questions. Are you interested, and how much? And it will come with a little figure of me holding the microphone, and the plan is the cord from the microphone will attach to the USB drive that has all the music on it. So I am planning that. So if you could fill out that survey, it would really help me out.
That sounds neat.
Dr. Demento will be doing a signing for Record Store Day. Saturday, April 18th, Dr. Demento will be doing a meet and greet and signing copies of his single Get Demented. This will be taking place at Fingerprints Records in Long Beach. And from what I understand, you must call and reserve a copy of the record ahead of time because they only have a limited supply. So look up Fingerprints Records in Long Beach, California, if you're in the area or plan to be. And then come to the signing. Richard Cheese is doing a giveaway today. Today is Thursday, April 9th through Monday, April 13th. This is a free download from his store of 20 albums, 302 songs for free. Not name your price, free. If you go to music.richardcheese.com, which redirects to richardcheese.bandcamp.com, download the album titled Mucho Queso Collection. So it's 20 albums that he has released over the years. You can also visit shop.richardcheese.com for vinyl records, a new Martini Power t-shirt, personally autographed posters, sheet music, and more. And Ray Stevens is recovering after a fall. The other day he fell and apparently broke his neck, but he's okay. He was hospitalized briefly, and he is recovering at home and has to wear a neck brace for the next 4 weeks. I imagine falling and breaking your neck when you're 87 years old is kind of terrifying. So we wish him the best. And today would have been Tom Lehrer's 98th birthday. So happy birthday, Tom.
And today is Lindsay's birthday.
Happy birthday, Lindsay. Yes, I was getting to that. You got anything before tour dates?
Nope.
All right, tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, 2 Sleeps. The last Sunday of each month on Facebook, Lauren Mayer. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Wednesdays in San Francisco, California, Ben Vicini. On the 10th in Lee, Massachusetts, Drew Jacobs. On the 11th in Albany, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 11th in Alameda, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 11th in Muncie, Indiana, Mikey Mason. On the 17th in New York, David W. Jacobson. On the 17th in Newtown, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. The 17th through the 19th in Markham, Ontario, Canada, Mikey Mason. On the 18th in Millbrook, New York, Drew Jacobs. And on the 20th in Brooklyn, New York, Amy Englehart. All right, that's it for news. That's it for tour dates. We already wished Lindsay a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Lindsay. And second song of the week, new one by Paul Wensley. Here is This Year.
I'm gonna change things. Certain things about my situation that get to me that I previously thought, well, maybe I'll die and I won't have to deal with them. I got a sock in a drawer, and it doesn't have a mate. It just sits there in the drawer like something magic's gonna happen moving forward. And on top of it all, it has a it has I got a fork amongst the others. It's an ugly fork. Wonder where I got it. Always shove it to the bottom, so I'll donate it, yo. But goodwill will just laugh and say no. They'll lead me out the door. They'll say, what do you think we're running here? Our clientele doesn't like ugly forks or single socks with holes. Nice try though, there's a trash bin outside the door. Oh, this year I'm gonna change things. Certain things about my situation that get to me that I previously thought, well, maybe I'll die and I won't have to deal with them. I see the doc says we gotta check your colon, scope up for something swollen. You're asleep when we go in, but the prep ain't fun, so had to wanna get it done. Not a little at all disrupts my volleyball.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. 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 You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback. This came in for last week's show, but I guess I didn't see it in time.
Draconis alert. Draconis alert. Draconis alert.
Draconis wrote, Happy post-Easter, Devo. What's your opinion of the lost episodes of the Daleks' Master Plan having been released by BBC on YouTube? First of all, I was thrilled when they found those 2 episodes, because I'm always excited to find new Doctor Who episodes, or old lost Doctor Who episodes. And I was very surprised they put them up on the YouTube channel, because I was fully expecting them to put it out on a DVD and ask people to pay for it. But that Doctor Who Classics YouTube channel has great stuff on it. So I watched both of the episodes. I'm not a huge fan of William Hartnell. He's my least favorite Doctor, but I enjoyed the episodes. It was really cool seeing, episodes that I don't ever remember seeing another episode with Katarina as the companion. So I'll have to look up and see if I've seen any of her other ones. But I didn't recognize her at all. But, yeah, really cool stuff. Over on YouTube.
Hey, log! Oh my god, it's you, not again!
A-Log wrote, I'm still surprised that Jace and the boys are trying to bring 8-tracks back, since I remember how much of a joke they were back in the day. Yeah, Jace loves old media. And Hamner Hack wrote, Hey there, Fumpers. I posted on last week's show, FuMPCast 823 Natural Flap, that I've set up the poll for the best song of March 2026. But when it wasn't brought up on the feedback, I checked and it wasn't on the YouTube page. Not sure if it's because it has an off-site link, but I've posted it before and there was not a problem. So I figured I'd just try again and hope for the best. And then there's another comment after this on YouTube that won't load. I can't get it. I can't get it to load. So YouTube does not want you to post this link, and I don't know why. Maybe because it is an off-site link. Maybe they don't allow those. I don't know. But yeah, so I can't get the second comment to load. So that's all the feedback we got. All right. Let's do
teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah. Teasing. Tomorrow's song is by Project Sisyphus. And
Tuesday song is not yet posted.
I'm sure it will be, but it's not posted yet. And I need a topic for this week's playlist. Any suggestions?
Condiments.
Condiments?
Embarrassed salt thing.
Condiments.
You know, ketchup, mustard.
Yeah, I know
pickle,
what condiments
relish,
are. I'm trying to think
mayonnaise.
if there's any songs. Mustard.
mayonnaise?
Mustard by Alcav.
Yes. In the mayonnaise.
In the mayonnaise.
By Wormwood.
You know what's funny about that song? I was playing what the hell's that song, that game? Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
And one of the cards I got said a bowl of mayonnaise and human teeth. And I took a picture of it and sent it to Shoebox, and he replied with, "What the fuck?" All right. All right. I'll see what I can find. There has to be.
There has to be
more
songs about pickles and horseradish and Worcestershire sauce and
Yeah, I'm sure.
hot sauce.
All right. So do you want to rant about work, or is that for another time?
Yes.
Okay. Go for it.
So basically, at the beginning of my last work week, which would have been the 3rd, I got at the very end of the day, after working all day, being a good little productive worker, I got called in suddenly for an investigative interview by my supervisor, which involved me having to talk to somebody from the union before we went in to prepare me for it. And this whole investigative interview is about times I have been late for work. Like, that's it. Didn't steal anything. Didn't, break any laws. Didn't steal any mail. Didn't do anything.
Didn't run
heinous.
around with your dick out,
No.
hitting
Didn't even not show up for work. I have perfect attendance. I've been there every day I've been scheduled thus far. So, basically, I started talking to the union person for a little bit, and I started explaining about some of the other things that had been going on, and the fact that I never asked to be promoted. It came at a really inconvenient time. Anyway, let me just get to the point of I was given this this statement thing that we had to go through, and basically it was my supervisor asking me all these questions to my face while the person from the union sits there as sort of the I guess she's sort of there to defend me, but also there to be like a witness to make sure that I'm not being harassed or beyond I guess what is allowed or whatever. So basically going through all these questions, blah blah blah, blah and because I was asking are we supposed to be writing these answers down because they each had their own copy of it, and one of them was like, sure, yeah, we could write these down. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna write all my answers down. So number 3 on this was for each of the following dates listed below, please explain what incapacitated or prevented you from reporting work. So we go to February 21st. The hours they list as 0.10, which for those of you who are new to this whole wonderful segment of the show, 0.08 stands for 8/100ths of an hour. So each 100th of an hour is 36 seconds. And that's the amount of time, the leeway amount of time you're allowed to have to clock in and be a little bit late but still considered to be technically on time, is 0.08 hours. So that day I was 0.10 hours. So that means I was 1 minute and 12 seconds beyond what is allowed. This is one of the reasons I'm being called in for this military tribunal, is over 1 minute and 12 seconds.
You're such a troublemaker.
Yes. Then the next one, for February 28th, I was 0.12. So that's 0.04 over. And it basically, I found out, because I assumed that for the lunch break thing, they weren't really paying close attention to when we clocked back in for lunch. And also that we additionally had a 0.08 leeway from clocking in after the lunch break. So because nobody trains us here and nobody tells us all this information, there is no booklet, there is no class where they tell you, here's all the information. The whole job is set up so you just have to do things, and then when you do them wrong or you get in trouble, that's when you find out what the rule is. So basically, it wasn't until that day when she brought it up back then that I found out that the 0.08 counts cumulatively for the entire day. So if I showed up, if I was, whatever it was, 0.06, clocking in that's on time, but then I was also 0.06 after lunch, then that adds up to 0.12, and that means I'm over the 0.08 and I'm in trouble. These are things they never explain to us to let us know, that's the rule and that's what's going to get you in trouble and get you dinged by the freaking computer system. So I wrote down, I was unaware of the cumulative 0.08, for lunch plus start of day. Going to skip ahead to the last one. March 27th was 0.13. So I was, 0.05, more than I should have been, and I just put down traffic for that, just like I did for the first one. Now, the third one was March 14th. This is the really interesting one, because I was 0.56 late, so that's 33 minutes late. And why was I that much late? Because the police shut down Highway 5 due to a police chase involving a stolen vehicle. I know that because the traffic was completely stopped on the 5, and I was able to Google on my phone, why is traffic stopped on the 5 right now? And that's what came up, and I screenshot it. And then when the traffic finally started moving, I got my camera out and took photos of the traffic showing the lights from the police way up ahead who had stopped all the traffic. So, when I showed up that day late, after I had called in to try to, several times to try to get through to somebody in the central control room and nobody answered, the first 2 times, and I got a hold of somebody. I actually texted my friend Ricky, who works there, to tell her that too, just because whatever. I showed up and I showed her on my phone, look, I want you to see this. This is what happened today. But nonetheless, it got brought up here, so I had to defend that again. And, their response to that, of course, is, well, why didn't you leave the house early enough to avoid this? Because it's my job to either A, have the clairvoyance to know when bad traffic things are going to happen, and or just leave my house. How early do I need to leave my house to travel 20 miles to make sure that if any bad things happen along the way, it will not keep me from getting to work on time? Like, I want to know quantitatively. I want a number. I want them to tell me, what time do I need to leave Burbank? Because they don't give me that answer, and they don't care. So, whatever. So then they continue to, she continues to scold me like a kindergartner. Despite the rules, it appears that you are not regular in attendance. Can you explain to me why you continue to not be regular in attendance? And I just said traffic. Attendance reviews were conducted with you to make sure you are aware of your unsatisfactory attendance. Please explain why you failed to correct your attendance after your absence issue was discussed with you. And I just sat there for a long time not saying anything because I could not think. I'm not trying to think of a smart-ass answer. I'm trying to think of an answer that I can legitimately give them that might, for lack of a better term, help my case. And then the lady from the union says, are there any issues happening at home? And I'm like, well, I could bring up my depression, anxiety, and ADHD, and the fact that I'm, very likely an adult with undiagnosed autism. But, why should I mention that? Because you guys don't care. And then the lady said, and then it's like, well, and then finally she's like, well, is that your answer? I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. Let's make that my answer. Depression, anxiety, and ADHD. Then they asked, did you receive an attendance review on 3/22/2026? And off the top, I know that at some point I had gotten an attendance review, but I didn't know off the top of my head what date it happened on. So I said, can I look at my phone? Because I thought looking at my calendar or looking at my photos, like my photo scroll, because sometimes I take pictures of, forms that I get so I know what they were or what date I got them. So I'm like, can I take a look at my phone? And my supervisor goes, no. So I ended up having to respond to that. I don't recall. So later on, after the fact, I looked up because I did get this sheet of paper of my attendance review, and it wasn't done on the 22nd. It was done on the 27th. So it was done 5 days late. So my supervisor was 5 days late in doing the attendance review. So I wish I had access to that information so it could have been part of the record of this investigation in front of the union lady that she was late. Because, lateness is, such a fucking crime. Then, please explain what you have done to correct the problem that created your absences from work. And then I said, I have no absences from work. I have perfect attendance. What can management do to correct your absences? I said, I haven't had any absences. Do you have FMLA, which has something to do with like family leave, blah, blah, blah. Did you request FMLA for the associated absences? And I said no and no. And I literally said to them, I don't have a family. And they're like, well, it's not about having a family. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he says, do you have anything else you'd like to add? No. And then EAP, which is some sort of in-company like helpline you can call, if you're having trouble or whatever, I guess. It says EAP is available. Would you like to be referred to EAP? And I said, no, I have a therapist and a psychiatrist. So that's what happened. Oh, and then they gave me the number for EAP if I want to call them. So that was the beginning of my week, and I basically spent my entire work week in a constant state of just pure furious anger over this. I was just so mad, because remember, we're talking about between like 72 seconds and 300 seconds of difference, and the police literally shutting down the entire highway. But none of those things matter to the supervisor and to the management above her, apparently.
Of course not. They have to justify their jobs.
Yes. So, something I didn't get around to doing that I had been given like a week or so earlier was I was handed this thing called the Postal Pulse Survey that they hand out to all the employees so that we can answer some questions. So let's just fill out the Postal Pulse Survey right now here on the FuMPCast. It's one of those things, strongly disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree or strongly agree, like 5 dots. So, okay, question 1. I am proud to work at the Postal Service. Strongly disagree. I'm proud of me and the work I do and that I'm a hard worker, but especially in this administration, no. Do you know that the Postal Service is technically underneath the executive branch?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, my boss is Donald Trump. So no, I am not proud to work at the Postal Service. Okay. I intend to stay with the Postal Service for at least the next 12 months. Strongly disagree. I mean, I'm not going to
leave in the next 12 hours if you could.
Yeah. I'm not going to be irresponsible. I am going to keep working until I'm going to try to find another job. I'm not going to leave this job unless I have another job lined up. So I'm not going to be irresponsible, but I don't want to. I've basically set a personal goal for myself by the latest end of October. I want to have a different job. I don't want to go into another holiday season working for this place. I have a specific reason to want to hit at least a year. And then Kalani and I are going to go on our planned vacation to Disney World in Florida for like a week, and we're going to do that like end of September, into the beginning of October. So basically, I'm kind of viewing like October 15th to 31st. Like that's where I want to be starting a new job at the latest. If I find a new job that wants me to start right away, fuck it, I'll just do it. But anyway. Question 3. I would recommend the Postal Service as a great place to work. Strongly disagree! I have to fill in these like little dots, and I just want to have like a big giant marker like frickin' But no, if I do it wrong, it's not going to count. So anyway. My work gives me a sense of personal accomplishment. Strongly disagree. Other work I do gives me a sense of personal accomplishment, but not this work. Let's see. I know what is expected of me at work. Well, I'm going to say regular agree, not strongly disagree, but regular agree, because I know what's expected of me at work. But again, with the complete lack of fucking training, there's a lot of shit that literally I don't know and won't know about until I make a mistake and then somebody tells me. So, all right. I have the resources to do my job effectively. I don't know. That one's kind of in the middle. I mean,
well, you could agree to that. I mean, you do your job effectively.
Well, I mean, like by resources, I mean like I can get a scanner, I can get tape, I can get the little knife box cutter thing. Mm-hmm. They typically keep the stuff decently stocked. So yeah, I'll go with agree, but it's still anyway. My job makes good use of my skills and abilities. Strongly disagree. Y'all don't know the. I have the skills to pay the bills, but none of those skills are used at this job. Other than, me being able to recognize numbers and put boxes into other boxes based on those numbers. Let's see. I am given opportunities to grow and develop in my current role. Strongly disagree. Because I spent a couple of days doing training on the, like little forklift and other vehicles, and I got my official thing, but then I'm told, because of seniority, you're never going to be able to use this thing, because there's always going to be, unless the 50 people above you all quit or get fired or die or something, I'm never going to be far enough up the food chain to be allowed to use any of these vehicles. So no, I'm not. I have no opportunities to grow and develop. Let's see. I understand how my job contributes to the success of the organization. Now this is a trick question, because it isn't saying my job contributes to the success of the organization. It's saying I understand how my job. So the question is, do I understand? And yes, I do understand. I'm not saying, it's like, so I don't know. I guess I'll go with agree, because I do understand. I'm not stupid. So yeah, I'll go with agree on that one. My opinions matter. Strongly disagree. I don't matter for shit there. I feel that I am part of a team. Strongly disagree. There's maybe 1 to 2 of my equal level coworkers that I feel do a decent job and actually work. But the rest of them, I literally saw a woman this week who's one of the, longer time employees there, literally be on on her phone on a video call talking to someone while she was out on the floor, and nobody reprimands her. I've seen another guy basically go hang out in the break room for a half hour during his shift, and nobody says anything to him. So no, these people are not being my teammates. This is not a good team. My team is committed to doing high quality work. Strongly disagree with that one. My manager or supervisor has created an environment where I feel my work is valued. Strongly disagree. Fuck you. I ain't valued for shit. You don't value a goddamn thing about me. All right, side 2. We are at question 14 of 23. Hang in there, folks. My manager or supervisor recognizes my accomplishments. Strongly disagree. My manager or supervisor gives me regular feedback on my performance. Well, technically, I have to say agree. Because that does happen regularly. Not on schedule like it's supposed to when the calendar says, but it does happen in some regular fashion. My manager or supervisor supports my skill and career development. Strongly disagree. My manager or supervisor recently met with me one-on-one. Well, technically, yes, that happened. So I kind of have to go strongly agree on that one, because it is an incontrovertible fact that happened. I am comfortable reporting a safety hazard. Okay, I'm thoroughly comfortable reporting a safety hazard, 100%. Don't believe anyone's going to listen to me or that my words say, mean anything, but I'm comfortable, reporting a safety hazard. So, I'll go with strongly agree on that one, because I'm thoroughly 100% comfortable with that. Safety hazards are addressed when reported. I have no fucking idea. So I'm going to go neither agree nor disagree, because I've never submitted a safety hazard report or seen the results thereof. So, yeah. I assume by my leadership, they mean the supervisors and everyone above me. My leadership communicates a clear vision for the future related to the Postal Service's strategic plan. Strongly disagree. I have vision for the future related to the Postal Service's strategic plan. I thought the strategic plan was, here's mail, we deliver it. End of plan. I thought that was the plan. If there's a new plan, they haven't communicated it. So, next question. My leadership explains how operational changes affect me and or my facility/work unit. Strongly disagree. They don't explain shit. They don't train nothing. Nothing. The Postal Service is committed to equal employment opportunities. I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with the neither agree nor disagree. I hate to be a centrist fence sitter on that one, but it's hard for me to make an argument for or against either of those positions. Anyway, and then the final question. says, I believe feedback from this survey will be used to make improvements. Strongly disagree. So there we go. I'm going to drop this in the mail with this business reply envelope. But one final thing, and I want to get your opinion on this, Devo.
Sure.
Just during this week, which I told you how I was feeling during this week, I noticed on the line there was like this 3 or 4 page like printed up thing of like, oh, postal news, or something like that. And on the back of it, like something caught my eye, and it caught my eye so well that I felt the need to cut it out and like take it home with me. So it looked like this. It was a little square on this thing. And I'll read it to you. Here's what it says. Headline: Postal suicides are at an alarming rate. And then here's what it says underneath that. A rash of reported suicides among postal workers has erupted, raising alarm among concerned union officials. Recent reports reveal that suicides among postal workers are double the rate of the general public. Unfortunately, postal employment working conditions can cause mental or physical states that produce a compulsion to commit suicide. This should be taken seriously. Help is available for USAP, blah, 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 and they give information at the bottom. So here's my question to you. When I drop this inside this envelope, do I put this in with it? So that whoever gets this sees my responses and sees that I sent this. Do I do that?
Is there any way to trace it back to you?
Well, that's the
other
thing,
than like
because
DNA testing on the paper, which you can't do anything about.
Let's see. It says, please see Privacy Act statement on the reverse side of this form. Well, I don't know, because like there's like a code number up here, and then there's like a code number.
Oh yeah,
down
those
here,
are.
And there's like a UPS. It's like the envelope they gave it to me in did have like my name on it. So it's like if this is that. Yeah, there's another code written on here too. So yeah, it kind of seems like
it's probably they probably claim it's anonymous, but they can probably figure out who did it. So yeah, I would.
Yeah. Okay, but it was still.
It's an amusing idea, though. I did appreciate the thought.
So basically, I I doubt this will affect any change, but if this in any way makes my supervisor makes her life more difficult, then yay. Because that's basically the only victory I can ever get at a place like this.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
So yeah, anyway. So
so while you were filling out that form, I managed to find 9 songs about condiments.
Yay!
So we have Mustard by Soggy Potato Chips, The Ballad of Captain Mustard Butt by Bad Beth and Beyond, My Love for You, the Mayonnaise Song by the Steamy Bohemians, In the Mayonnaise by Worm Quartet, A Song About a Train by Rob Balder, which is about the A1 steak sauce.
Yeah, yep.
Clausen Man by Mikey Mason, The Pickle Song by Max DeGroot, Hot Sauce and Ice Cream by Tom Smith, and At the Home Center on Carson Avenue by Cirque du So What, because it mentions honey mustard.
Of course.
I was kind of surprised that was still on Spotify. I thought they were taking all that stuff down. But while it's still up there, I figured I'd use it.
All right, cool. Well, I guess that wraps up the show then. I hope everyone had an enjoyable time listening to me fill out this form.
All right, and on that note, thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast, where Luke Ski fills out a feedback form. I'm Devo Spice.
And I'm Luke Ski, and my salt is embarrassed.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
"Strongly disagree!" with just whatever, anything. I disagree with it.